Hello everyone, my name is Nox and we are back continuing Pokemon Scarlet. First and most importantly, I need to point out the fact that we've now acquired Drip. No more of whatever this look was. We've got good hair and some nice shades now. All Drip aside, this time around I saw a friend in the distant desert and decided it was time for another Titan battle. Surprisingly, I was able to get really close to this thing, which is perfect for admiring the design on it. Nintendo or Game Freak, I don't know, did a really good job on this one. It looks absolutely amazing. For some reason it didn't decide to attack until I was literally inside of its trunk, which was weird. Immediately after starting the battle, Sada called me and she let me know that the Pokemon was originated from the Great Crater of Paldea. You know, the giant hole in the center of the map. She then essentially tells me to take it down, but to be careful about it. And then I proceed to have nearly every one of my Pokemon taken out in one shot. Obviously I need to get quite a bit stronger before I come back. After losing horribly to that Donphan, I went ahead to Cascarafa to take on the water gym. As soon as I get to the building, old man Kofu, the gym leader, bolts out of the building yelling about how late he's gonna be to something. The lady who works in the gym building, who I can only assume is like a gym manager or something, runs out with his wallet. Apparently Kofu's going to an auction and left it behind, and as part of the gym challenge, she wants me to run across the desert to Porto Marinada and return Kofu's wallet so that he isn't trying to buy stuff without actually having the money to do so. So I ran across the desert, got chased by a regular Donphan, and jumped off a cliff straight into town. Once I get to Kofu, he's already realized he's forgotten his wallet, and I attempted to walk up to him, but his, quote, best apprentice stopped me, and said if I wanted to even talk to Kofu, I would have to beat him in a battle. We end up battling, and it was actually a bit harder than I expected. To be honest, it didn't help that I accidentally led with Charcadet, but after that my Terrasflies Floragato took out both Floatzel and Poncher without any problems. Seed Bomb for the win. Old man Kofu sees his apprentice lose in battle, and goes on to ask what all the commotion was about. Finally, I can return Kofu's wallet back to him. Kofu goes on about how he really wanted something from the auction, but was disappointed to see he had lost his wallet. Just then, the auctioneers made an announcement. They were auctioning off the last item, Wakami seaweed straight from the Hoenn region. Kofu starts gushing about how he can see the springiness of the seaweed without even touching it, and how it shines so brilliantly. He ends up making me a deal. For the real gym challenge, all I needed to do was win the auction for Kofu, and to do this he gives me 50,000 to play with. So after running through a desert, getting harassed by Pokemon, jumping off a cliff, and being attacked by his apprentice, all just to give him his wallet, he ends up just giving me 50,000 to win him an auction. To be fair, it cost 45,000, but he did let me keep the extra. For some reason I decided I wasn't going back to the gym though. Instead, I headed for Team Star's Fire Squad. Don't ask me why, because looking back at it now, I have no idea. Just before that though, we finally got a couple other members of our team to evolve. We started with an adorable little Fido, and it's now officially baked into a Darkspawn. Mankey also managed to evolve. The small angry pig monkey became a more enraged pig monkey, probably because it lost his tail. Which, apparently it also evolved bracelets. I don't know how that works, but alright. Finally we got to the Fire Squad, otherwise known as the Skeeter Squad. The star known as Skeeter is also part of the Cassiopeia constellation. Are you connected the dots yet? No? Don't worry, you'll get there. I met Clive in front of the star base and we started chatting. Apparently thanks to our work with the Segan squad, Cassiopeia finally allowed him to join Operation Starfall officially. I want to make sure we're all clear that Clive and Director Clavel are the same person. We found that out a few videos back. Knowing this, he mentioned that he's worried about the amount of kids dropping out of school because of bullying, about the rumors that Team Star is plotting against the school, and about Team Star just not attending classes. You know, typical Academy Director stuff. You're not fooling anyone, Clavel. He then goes on to say that he personally threatened them with expulsion if they continue their actions. He just completely broke character for a good 5 lines of dialogue. Clavel, get your shit together. Cassiopeia then interrupts us and basically tells me to be more careful since their guard will now be up after me beating one of their bosses. I ran up to the guard and with my team now powered up to level 30, I proceed to miss his Houndour twice, but otherwise beat him without any real effort. He ran back into the base to warn the rest of his team, and Clive comes back saying that Cassiopeia told him to scout out the base. After he finished talking, a random little Charcadet came out of nowhere and said hi. Apparently Clive recognizes Charcadet, as he is one of the many Pokemon that are taken care of by the students of the Academy. His Charcadet's name also happens to be Charlos, which is just perfect. Now for the Starbase. All in all, it was exactly the same as the Segan squad, except this time we had fire types to deal with. Primeape, Darkspun, and Palmo took out all 30 of the required Pokemon in less than 2 minutes this time. Now onto the main event. Mela is the hot-headed leader of the Skeeter squad, and she's got a punk rock mixed with goth vibe to her, and I love it. Top of that, she didn't like that I was messing about in her Starbase. She leads the battle off of Torkoal, and I should probably mention that I don't have any counters to fire types at the moment, and I don't think I got one for a very long time. Primeape took out her Torkoal with a few cross chops, and her Reverum Starmobile took it out with a Swift. Now for the scary part. Not only do these Reverooms have unique types based on their base, but they also have unique abilities. Momo's Reveroom had Intimidate, and Mela's has the dreaded Speed Boost. These abilities are both very good, which just goes to show how tough these battles are meant to be. After a couple digs from Palmo and too many bites from Darkspun, the Skeeter Starmobile finally went down. I gotta say, Darkspun's well-baked body ability was a great asset in this battle, raising its defense by 2 stages if it's hit by a fire attack. Just like last time, we get another flashback telling more of Team Star's backstory. But first, look at Mela walk. Those boots cannot be comfortable. Alright, so in the flashback, we learned that Mela got a bunch of Charcadet to evolve, and she used their firepower to get the Starmobiles finally operational. They also mentioned that it was almost time for the big event, the final phase of Operation Star. The big boss had already called all the bullies into the schoolyard, and now it was time for them to take action. We're getting more and more lore. Like, what was Operation Star, and what was its true purpose? The flashback ends, and Mela gives up her star badge along with TM38 Flame Charge. Clive then swoops in, followed by Charlos, who runs up to meet Mela. Clive goes on to say that Charlos came all the way from the academy to see Mela. Apparently they used to play together when she still went to school. Clive goes on to say how Charlos wanted Mela to come back to school. He then, out of nowhere, confronts Mela about the rumors that Team Star are plotting against the school, which Mela shuts down pretty quick. She briefly mentions Operation Star and says that it's a treasure she'll never forget. I'm beginning to notice a pattern, and I'm okay with that. Cassiopeia then sends me some LP and more TM blueprints, and then again sends Penny to give me materials. This time, however, my dog gets a little excited, popping out of his Pokeball and licking Penny's face relentlessly. Typical dog. Koraidon eventually gets tired and goes to sleep, after which Penny says it drooled all over her. She then gives me the material she came to deliver and then asks my opinion on Team Star. I told her they were pretty tough, and then she goes on to talk about how most of them used to be victims of bullying, or just didn't fit in. Now those misfits got together to form Team Star. She says she got all that information from hacking people's accounts, but we know the truth. Now after such a large detour, I actually stopped recording here, and once I picked up my Switch again and hit record, I had traded a very specific item for my sister, who has Pokemon Violet. This item was the Malicious Armor, and helped Charcadet evolve into the obviously superior Saraledge. I had also ended up catching a Kirlia and sadly ended up replacing Darkspun with it. To be fair, Darkspun took out nearly an entire Starmobile by itself. It deserved retirement. That did not make me any less sad about doing it though. I finally headed back to the Cross Carafa gym to take on Kofu, but I ended up getting stopped by Hassel and Rika, the art teacher and the guy that confused everyone because they're actually a woman. They basically introduced themselves as members of the Elite Four and then left. There wasn't really much of this conversation. Kofu was a pretty easy fight. Palmo took out Veluza, Florigato beat down Wugtrio, and for some reason I switched to Primeape after that, who did deal good damage, but let's face it, I should have kept in Florigato. Speaking of which, after Primeape went down, I sent out Florigato again and Seed Bombed it to death. Super easy battle and I wasn't even overleveled. With this gym badge in my collection, I was finally ready for the next one. Oh, and winning this battle also caused Kirlia to evolve, so I now had a Gardevoir. On my way to Medalia, I ended up running into a shiny Gumshoos as well, which honestly it really reminds me of Bubblegum, and I don't know why. Not even like Princess Bubblegum from Adventure Time, just straight up Bubblegum. So after finding that shiny, I ended up in Medali for the next gym leader. To win the gym challenge, I had to figure out what the secret menu item was. They gave me a single hint and told me that other trainers were given other hints, and in order to get their hints, I had to beat them in battle. So the gym challenge was honestly just a bit of detective work. So I beat up some kids, typical detective behavior, stole their hints, and worked out what the puzzles meant. I eventually got the answer, which was, oh boy, medium serving grilled rice balls fire blast style with fresh lemon on the side. I gotta ask though, what if I wasn't a gym challenger? What if I was just some dude who just so happened to like that specific order? And because of that, now I am obligated to fight this gym leader that I didn't even know existed. And now I have to battle on an empty stomach because all I wanted to do was eat some medium rice balls fire blast style with some nice fresh lemon on the side. Guess I'll never know. Also, apparently after ordering the correct thing, it just murders an entire floor of people. Like, where did they go? They're just gone. Oof. Anyway, I guess after murdering all those people, it's time for a battle. The gym leader was just an overworked office man, and he is my favorite gym leader. I honestly think that in general, he is the Pokemon community's favorite gym leader from Pokemon Scarlet, which I don't understand exactly why, but I get it. He's just so aggressively normal. Then you get absolute freaks like Ayano. I'd take Larry any day. Larry leads with Kamala, who dies to a cross chop, then the Dunsparce, who apparently knows Drill Run and nearly kills Pomo. I volt switched out of there and sent out Gardevoir for a little test run. Gardevoir did a little damage and confused the Dunsparce with the Psybeam, and then died to a Hyper Drill. So much for a test run. I then sent out Primeape again with a cross chop to finish the job. Larry then sends out Staraptor, fixes his tie, and then terrestrialized like an absolute badass. Primeape tanked an Aerial Ace and landed a cross chop. Fortunately, all it took was another Aerial Ace to take Primeape down. Finally, I sent out Ceruledge to take down Staraptor with a couple flame charges, and with that, the normal badge was now mine. This battle was also enough to make Florigato evolve. I gotta say, seeing this, I was so happy I chose Sprigatito. Skeledirge looked kinda cool, but also kinda derpy, and Quaquaval was look at it. I heavily dislike it, but that's just my opinion. Sprigatito, though, is a dark-type magician who essentially just conjures bombs from thin air to blow up anything in their path. Larry also treated me to a bit of food after the battle, which is pretty nice of him. Free food, there's nothing better than that. After leaving, Gita came to talk about how skilled I was, and how I would even become a champion someday, and how cool I was, and how she wanted to invite me to— oh, and here comes Nemona ready to kick my ass. Cool. Nemona gets possessive over having me as a battle partner, and Gita laughs it off. Nemona then challenged me to a battle, of course, and Gita chimes in asking to watch the battle. I swear to God, if this writing program doesn't stop autocorrecting Nemona to pneumonia, she isn't an illness, she just has an illness. There's a difference. Anyways, one last battle for today. Nemona starts off with Lycanroc, who gets destroyed by a cross chop. Gardevoir Dazzling gleamed Pomo and Gumi to absolute death, and now time for my absolute favorite thing. Death by Flower Trick. Time some nerd shit. If you don't want to hear all this, there's a timestamp on screen, just skip there. So, Meowscarada, Terrestrialized to a Grass type, makes his Grass Stab a 2x multiplier instead of 1.5. Meowscarada is also holding a Miracle Seed, which boosts Grass type attacks even more. Finally, Flower Trick also lands a critical hit. The damage on this is terrifying, and including the fact that Quaquaval is weak to Grass, I don't know if I did the math correctly, but if I did, this attack adds up to 672 base power, after all multipliers applied, including Quaquaval's weakness. Basically what I'm saying is I didn't just beat Quaquaval, I now hold his entire bloodline hostage.